Hi everyone, this is Christine Josty from Mail Something Pretty, and today I wanted to show you these cute tea holders. I was actually asked to make the video for some friends in Australia, and so hello. And but I wanted to do this to show you a cute little hostess gift or a little just a little gift to give someone. It can be any season. You can see this is a Christmas one, and this one is more, I think we made these for Mother's Day one year. But let me show you what's inside. So you open up the little flap, and then you have these little pockets, or little envelopes rather. And so, oh, there's no tea inside. I guess I took it out. And so your tea bag fits right inside. So you can put, you know, all the same teas inside or different teas. And so it's just a little, it closes. Just a little, little gift. So I won't close that right now, but so there you go. So I'm going to show you how to make it. I'm actually going to use different paper because I ran out of this paper, but you'll see it really doesn't matter what paper you use. All right, so let me move these aside, and we have some pre-cut here. You're going to start with the base piece. So this one is the green base. So that is 11 by 3 1/4. And for those Australian friends, hello, and you will have to do your conversions because I don't know how to do them. So this is all inches, 11 by 3 1/4. And we're going to score some, let me get my pad here. We are going to score this paper at, right about here. Okay, here we go. At 3 1/2, 3 1/2, 4 3/4. I will put all this down too. I'll post it on my website too, so you don't have to scramble taking notes. 8 1/4 and 9 1/2. Okay, so 4 score lines on that. And then we need, let me show you on here. So you can do, I don't really know what you're calling this. I was calling it a, just an insert, but where the little envelopes are going to attach to. So you can use the same color. I like doing contrasting colors, just I thought it gave it a little visual impact. This one is green. So that piece of paper is going to be, what is it, 4 inches by 3 inches. And this you're going to score every 1/2 inch. So on the long side, or the landscape side, I guess. So we're going to do a, so just like a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2 inch, so forth. Just keep going on the 1/2 inch. 2, 3, and 1 more. All right, so I don't know if you can see it, but it's scored each increment there. Okay, so we're all done, I think, with that. All right, so I'm going to set that aside, and now we need to make our envelopes. So I'm going to use the envelope punch board, which I have to say I don't use that much, and I really should because there's lots of things you can do with it. I'm going to use, this is paper from Festive Farmhouse, I believe, and I'm going to do, sometimes you can use both sides, but I didn't know if that quite matched because it has the white with the vanilla. So I'm just going to do a repetition of the 2 patterns. And, oh, I should have done some of this ahead of time. I'm going to do them all for you. I meant to do some ahead. All right, so your envelope punch board comes with a score piece that just fits right in this little pocket. And it has a, you'll see the punch, it does a couple things. And you also have measurements on here. So it does come in both metric and, what do they even call ours? Imperial, I think. So this piece, all of the envelope pieces are 5 inches by 5 inches square. And so over here, you actually have 2 choices. It says a card, you know, if you're going to make a card, to make, really have to make an envelope. So you measure your card, and then you figure out what size piece you need, and that will make the envelope to fit your card. But of course, we use it different reasons. So over here it says 5 by 5, but there's 2 options here. So we want to use the, and then it tells you where to start. And so we want to do the second one. It's 2 3/8. So just remember 5 by 5, and you're going to start at 2 3/8. And what that means is you have all these measurements over here. So I'm going to put my piece of paper in 2 5/8. And then I'm going to punch. I just want to show you what it looks like. It just makes a little notch. Okay, so let me just put it back there because I didn't finish it. 2 5/8. Okay, so you punch it, and then you take your scoring tool here, and there's a little groove. I use it upside, well, I assume it's upside down. I guess you could use it either way, but I find it easier to use it this way. You put this little score tool in here where the notch begins, and you just make like a score line. You might not be able to see it, but you can feel it. There's a score line. And then you're going to rotate your paper, but I'm not going to use the measurements anymore. I'm going to use this. It says scoring guide, this little notch here with where my score is. So I'm going to line up this mark with my score line goes all the way here on the diagonal. So the same thing. So you're going to punch and you can make the score line. I'm going to find the score line. So I'm going to punch and score line and do it the final time. So this is what your paper looks like. You have 4 notches. Oh, this is just scrap. 4 notches, and then you have the score lines. So I'm going to do these 3, which I meant to do ahead of time, really quick. So I'm going to find the 2 3/8, punch, score. You can see the scores better on this one. Punch, score, punch, score, and one more on this one. Punch, score. Okay, so then we'll do, so for this measurement of the holder, it holds, 4 envelopes. This one you have to kind of feel it. I have the sunlight coming in my window right next to me, which is nice, but it has a little glare and it's harder to see. If you wanted to make your envelopes, more envelopes in here, you would just have to, let's say you would have to get a longer piece of paper. So I guess the longest really would be on a 12-inch piece of paper. And then your insert would have to be longer, but I'm going to stick with what I learned. Okay, so that's all scrap. We're done with the, actually no, we're not done with it. I'm going to put that away. So the other cool thing is, you probably can't see, but it says reverse punch right on this thing. So we did this made this mark, but then if you stick your tip in, it's a corner rounder. So I have to admit, sometimes I only use this for a corner rounder. So I'm just going to do all of them quick, because you could do it so you left the straighter edge, but I think the rounder corners has a nicer look to it, and it really just takes a few seconds. Hopefully this isn't echoing too bad on the film. One more, and then, sorry, I meant to do this ahead of time and I didn't. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I can put that aside. Okay, so now we have our little envelope pieces, and here we go. You now can fold whatever, you can fold them so you're showing, whatever's on the inside, whatever's on the outside. So it becomes this cute little envelope. So then we're going to, I'm going to do it this way. Close them. Just going to use some snail. And it closes them shut. So we'll do that quick. And we're going to have them so that they are standing up. You can see it's not really a square envelope. It's, somewhat of a rectangle. And we want them to fit the tea bag. So we want them to go the long way. Portrait way, I guess you call that. And then I'm going to show you, a lot of tea bags are the same size. Not all of them are, but a couple I grabbed to show you are. And so again, if you have a tea bag that's a little bit of a different size than this, then you just, here, let me grab a tea bag. So you would just measure your tea bag, and that's kind of like pretend that's your card, right? And then you would figure out what your card size according to, so this card size is 2.5 by 3, even though it's a tea bag. And then you just figure out what size paper you need, and then we start your score line, and the rest would be the same. But most tea bags, actually show you, I brought a few out, are pretty close to the same size, so I just use these ones. So the Tezo is really the same, the Stash is really the same, and the Bigelow, yep, so they're all the same. So it's a pretty standard tea bag size, I guess. Let me just finish this last one. Okay. Close those. Okay, so now we have our cute little envelopes. We're going to go back to our base, and actually I am going to, I rounded, you can see these have little rounds. Again, you can leave it, but I think it looks nice. So we want the shorter side, that's a longer before the score line. We want the shorter side. I'm just going to round those, and I'll round the edges once we decorate it again too. So I won't put that too far away. Okay, so we're just gonna fold it up on the score lines. Right, so that becomes our little box. And then this is where we scored every 1/2 inch. I'm just right now just gonna give a little fold, because we're gonna kind of shape that, but I just want it to be easily manipulated, so I'm folding both directions to kind of break down the paper. All right, so that's easier. We need to use our tear and tape. I like to use tear and tape on all like 3D projects because it's stronger than the snail. And this is where we're gonna put the tear and tape. So I keep this one in a little folder with my directions so I remember. So we can say we're gonna put it on the first one, and then skip 3, put it on this one, skip 2, and this one. So really the 2 edges and almost the middle. You could use Fast Fuse if you'd like, if you still have some. But I actually, for this one, I kind of like the tear and tape because it gives me a few seconds to figure out what I'm doing. If it was Fast Fuse, I wouldn't have the, whatever, this part to, you know, if I needed to figure out what I was doing. Okay, so the 2 ends we're just going to fold in. Okay, so those just folded in. And this middle one, to remember, we want it to look like, oh, did I put it on the wrong side? I may have. How did that work before? All right, I'm just going to leave that because we're going to need that for the tea bag anyway. So kind of pretend that we're actually going to put it on the back side. You'll see we're actually going to put tear and tape on almost every side, so it's fine that I did that. So we want this to be closed because we want it to look like a W, like that. So I'm going to take that off to stick those together. All right, so this is the shape that we want. Move all this stuff out of the way so you can see. So it's like a W, and here it is here, right? See the W? Like that. And then that's where we're going to put our T parts in. So now I'm going to put tear and tape on these 2 pieces because that's what's going to stick down to our base. So you'll see almost every service gets tear and tape. Almost. All right. So I'm going to take this and peel the backing off. All right. So here, this is the bottom. And I'm going to probably, it's a little hard when I can't put my head over it. There we go. Okay, so see, there's that W. Okay, so it closes. So now we are going to put tear and tape on the parts that stick up. So this side and this side, and then this side and this side, because that's where we're going to put our tea bags. for those of you who know me, know that I love tea. I have a cup of tea every night. Sometimes I have a couple cups of tea every day. I don't like coffee. So I drink lots of tea and I have lots of flavors. And I like to give little tea gifts. One year I even made my own tea bags, which was kind of cool. Okay, so now we have our little pockets. And I think it matters if I want to figure out what order I want. So you want, I had it so, it depends on what you want. If you want them to open side by side, or do you want to open them in the order? It really doesn't matter. So you just decide which order. I guess I'll do this one so it's a little different. Sure, why not? Okay, so I'm going to peel that tear and tape off, and I'm going to put that one down. So that's my first one. And then my second one will go here. There we go. And then I'm just going to flip it around. But let's see, is that even going to work now that I did it? Hold on. You know what, that's not going to work if I go in order, because look, they're going to be stuck together. So I'm gonna carefully, I don't even have any more of this paper left. You know what, I'm gonna give this one to my mom and she won't care, right? So I don't have any more of this paper left, which I loved it and I used it, and I have to use what I have. Okay, so this last one goes here. That's how we learn how we do things. So pretend this one opened on this way, right? And then these two. And then we're going to put the tea bags in. I find it a little easier when we close them to have the tea bags in there, because it does have a little bit of a, oh, I think I put my last one in here. Take that back out. Okay, there we go. All right, and so on this one, I closed them with a little butterfly punch, which is retired. However, there's a new butterfly punch coming out in January. So, and it's actually very similar in size, so that would be really nice for this project. On the Christmas one that I made, and this is the one for those of you who are watching, I gave to Anne Lewis. She has this one, and so I used the bow. So I'm going to do that on this one. I just did it slightly different colors. I made bows, and I'll show you. I used this stamp set, which I love. This is in the annual catalog, so it's actually available all year round. And those are the bows. I first stamped it in brown, early espresso, and then I filled it in. I stamped it with a cherry cobbler to match the paper that I used. And I also show you, I'm using this Merry Christmas for the front. I really, really like this set, so that's in the annual catalog. So you don't have to worry about that going away just for a while. And what I used was a glue dot. And I use tweezers all the time with my glue dots. So I'm going to take a glue dot off, and I'm going to, I don't know if you can see, I'm putting the glue dot towards the bottom of this bow rather than the top of the bow, because then when I close this, it's gonna go here. So it's, you'll see it's not gonna get too stuck. So you wanna just put it just enough so that this will close, but not too far in, okay? So we'll do that with all of them. I should turn them. So you need 4, and then I did 1 bow for the front, just so it matches. All right, so again, I'm gonna close it, kind of put it right above, make sure it comes out. Oh, there we go. And the last one. Okay, so there we go. Isn't they pretty? Little bows, keep them closed. Again, if you had a Christmas punch, or if you're doing these for a different holiday, I also cut these out with scissors because there's no framelit, no punch. They were easy cutting. just to let you know. Okay, so now we're going to decorate our front. It scraps everywhere. And I cut these out, and so the biggest one goes on the bottom, and then the middle, and the little one goes on the very top. So these measurements are, and again I'll put them down, 3 inches by 1 3/4, 3 inches by 1 1/4, 3 inches by 1. This you can just use your snail. And you can stamp your own background paper, or you can do whatever, but I just used the pretty pattern paper. And it doesn't matter that that's there because that's going to close. Oh, shoot. Remember I said I was going to round the corners, so I'm going to round the corners because it's going to go in here. Of course, I just put my snail on there, but it's okay. It should work. It's like a work in progress. So I make corners rounded, they're going to match up here, and then this one's just a straight one. At the top, you could do different patterns or all the same. There we go. So it looks like that. You can see actually I kind of like the 2 different papers. And then I already did this. So this was the Merry Christmas from that stamp set, and I used my oval cutouts. I just mimicked the color. So I used Early Espresso, Little Gold, and the Cherry Cobbler. And I'm just going to use, oh no, they're not here, dimensionals, which I'm going to use mini dimensionals because that's what's right here. So let me put a few down. I thought I had everything ready. And then you want to leave this kind of the top without it because you need to close your flap. How in the world did I get that extra piece? Okay. You know that commercial for the iPhones when your iPhone is storage and it stops taking pictures? Well, that just happened with my video. So it just stopped on when I was putting on the Merry Christmas, but basically the construction of the box was done, but I just wanted to come back and say hello and goodbye. So I adhered my label on here. I put my little bow to match the bows inside. It's a little twisted. And that's really the basic of the box. And so you can have different variables here depending on the papers that you use and the colors. And so they can be, like I said, this one was Mother's Day. Obviously these are Christmas, little Easter tea or Thanksgiving, or they even sell teas, like peppermint tea would be great. It'd actually be a great box for like when somebody's sick. Just thought of that. So pretty versatile. And then just so you can see what they look like on the sides. I will have all the measurements on my blog, and there'll be a link under the YouTube video as well, so you can get them. So I hope you enjoy them. Thank you for the push and to get the video done. And let me know if you have any questions, or I'd love to see pictures of your boxes. So thank you. This was Christine Josty at Mail Something Pretty. Have a great day.